Welcome to the Joshua Jordan Experience. Listen to gather mystical insights for an extraordinary life. Hello, my beloved friends. Welcome once again to the Joshua Jordan Experience, and thank you so much for tuning in. I'm happy you're here. Today, I want to talk to you about feelings and mindset. Both are important because we create our own reality out of our thoughts and feelings. How we feel are like the magnets that start drawing to us events and people. Our thoughts also create the energy, the intention that begins to attract to us events and people. So, what you think and how you feel is what's creating your experience in what you think is outside of yourself. So, let me be focused today mostly on feelings. We have been taught through the law of attraction and some other important programs, perhaps The Secret you watched, that there are certain negative feelings, negative emotions. And that when you're in these negative emotions, you're just attracting more of these negative emotions. So you have to rise up out of that depth to a state of positive feelings and positive emotions. And that to feel good is the way to attract a life that feels good. And that is accurate. And yet it lacks precision. And I'm sure that a lot of you have wondered sometimes, why isn't this law of attraction working for me? And basically, what you will discover in that exploration is that my soul had something better in mind for me, and I didn't know about it. So I didn't get what I wanted because my soul said, I have something better in store for you. And it may not have felt better, but it was something that was going to be important on your journey. Also, if you explore into why isn't the law of attraction working for me, it's that core beliefs, deeply held and sometimes beyond your awareness, core beliefs about who you are and what you deserve or what you're worthy of. So, feelings are important. And from Joshua's point of view, and I have learned this well, is that feelings are facts. What? Yes. Feelings are facts. They're facts that can't be proven, but how you feel is a fact. So acknowledging it as a fact is a beginning to acceptance of my full scope of emotion. I do not have any emotions that I consider negative. Now, do I ever feel sadness? Yes. Do I ever feel grief? Yes. Sorrow? Yes. Anger? Yes. All of those so-called negative emotions are in the full spectrum of who we are. And so acknowledging and feeling all of my feelings makes them, first of all, non-threatening. I am not afraid of being sad, and I know it will pass. It always does. No emotion is meant to come and just sit with you forever. You're not meant to be stagnantly, eternally sad, nor are you meant to be totally and eternally ecstatic and blissful, joyful. We have a full spectrum of feelings that we have. Now, all the feelings that you have are valid and they have a purpose. I want to talk a little bit about that because There are some feelings around which we are shamed by others, or we feel shame within ourselves, like, oh, I shouldn't get angry. I'm not spiritual enough because I still feel mad sometimes. And right, none of that is valuable. All that's counterproductive. Feel how you feel when you feel it and let it pass through you. Don't invite it in to sit and have tea. Don't let it linger longer than it needs to. Emotional states are in motion. They are always moving. The word motion, energy in motion. So feelings and thoughts are constantly moving, and you want to let them flow through. You don't want to grab onto one and cling to it like, I'm so sad, I'm so sad, I'm so sad. I keep thinking about what makes me sad. Maybe my pet passed. Maybe I got some bad news about what I was hoping for, and so I feel sad. And the more I talk about and think about what I feel sad about, you see, I'm clinging to sad. So when I feel sad, I want to do it with the open hand, right? Oh, that was sad news I just heard. I feel the sadness and I let it move through me. And it will move through in natural flow on its own, as long as I do not begin to what? Dwell on it. Ponder it over and over and over. I'm telling myself, I feel X, right? So as long as I'm repeating that to myself, it is going to stay. That's a grabbing onto, a clinging to, or getting stuck in a certain frequency of feeling. Now, there are other frequencies of feeling that I love and I want to cling to and I want to keep them going. And that is, I feel happy. I feel good. I feel like smiling. I feel like laughing. I am having experiences that bring me deep joy. So you see, of course, these are the feelings I want to cling to. And yet, life is going to bring me moments where I am unhappy. Something didn't go the way I wanted it to. So, how I feel is totally in my control. How I feel is totally in my control. This is another thing I want to talk about around shame, around certain feelings. I'm sure that in the course of a lifetime, you will encounter someone who shames you about how you feel. For example, and this kind of thing has happened to me too. Someone says something that hurts my feelings, and I feel it, and I get upset, and maybe I respond to them in a way that's unexpected to them, surprising them. It's like, oh, and what do they want to do? They want to tell you, you shouldn't feel that way. I beg your pardon. What? No, don't feel that way. Don't feel that way. I didn't mean to insult you. Don't feel insulted. It's like, wait a minute. You I'm already telling you how I feel. I felt insulted when you said XYZ, right? So I made an I statement. I feel. I'm not blaming you for how I feel. I didn't say you made me feel. No. And I want you to really grasp this. Because when you have an emotional response to something, it's not about the other person. It's all in here, right? It's internal processing. So if you feel angry, say it and say it, I feel. And if it is in association to something someone did that triggered you, right? I felt angry or I feel angry when you talked about blah, 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 blah. It triggered something in me and I just went off. And my going off, though, is not about you. So you don't have to tell me, hey, you shouldn't be angry. You had no right to be angry. I wasn't intentionally trying to hurt you or upset you. I was just talking about this problem. But, I have a right to feel how I feel, and no one can tell me how I feel. So if someone tries to shame you about your emotional reaction or emotional response to something, remember, no one can tell you how you feel. I feel. And how I feel is not about you. The more I grasp that, the more emotional intelligence I'm able to display. I'm sure that most people have heard about emotional intelligence. There's a common sign for this or symbol for it. It's the letter E and the letter Q. EQ, like intelligence quotient. IQ, you've got EQ, emotional quotient. And emotional intelligence is maturity. And it takes a little bit of learning. It doesn't just come to us naturally. At least that's what I've discovered. And so a little bit of training around communication can absolutely change your life. So emotional maturity doesn't come to us naturally. It is something that we learn during the course of a lifetime. And how to communicate our feelings often requires a little bit of education too. And I'm teaching you that making I statements, and I'm sure many of you have heard of that before, that when you make an I statement, you are less likely to escalate a conflict. So if someone has said something that triggered you, it's not about them. And I say, I felt myself, I felt angry. I felt, I felt. I start with how I felt or how I feel. Right? I feel upset in this moment because you keep talking about blah, 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 blah. Could we wrap up that subject? So you make an I statement. It has, here's how I felt. This is what happened that caused me to feel this. I still feel, I'm not blaming you. I'm telling you, I felt this way. This is what happened that caused the feeling in me. And then I make a request how to go forward. The request might be, would you change your tone of voice with me? You seem angry, or you seem like you are attacking me. Is that true? Ask questions. I'd like to share with you that there is a model for nonviolent communication. Um, I'll just hold this book up here, Nonviolent Communication, A Language of Life. And it's by Marshall B. Rosenberg, PhD. And I think this book is extremely important for peacemakers, people who actually want to teach how to interact in a way that creates less energy potential for conflict. All right. If we communicate our feelings in a way that don't blame people for how we feel, they're less likely to tell you how you should feel. You should not be reacting to me like that. So those are the people who actually are manipulating you. Remember that. Someone who tries to tell you how you should feel is not listening. They're not taking in any feedback. And of course, they're not taking any ownership for whatever they may have done that triggered you. Now, in a very close personal relationship, you're going to want somebody who listens to your feelings and then actually considers how it's possible for them to change how they approach you or how they speak to you about that particular issue. So it creates more harmony, it creates more easy flowing communication when I respect how you feel. and know that how you feel is not about me. It's not me. So the first thing to do when someone wants to give you feedback is to remember this is not about me. What they're telling me is their reaction to something I did or something I've provided. They're giving me their feedback, their a point of view about my performance. And I did a video on how to handle criticism not too long ago. I recommend that if you have problems with that, to go through that video once again. So in that video, I did teach a EQ type of response to criticism. But if someone is criticizing me, first thing I want to do is, oh, wait, put up a little wall here that says, this is not about me. Don't take it into your heart. But listen through your mind. Take that in. And then, of course, if there is something in there that needs to touch your heart, let it. Because sometimes people are telling you how you behave in a way that causes them to feel something uncomfortable. So when I hear that, I want to consider how can I change my approach so that I don't trigger you. I also want to ask the other person, how could I have said that in a way that you could hear it and not be upset and not react? How could I have given you my feedback in a way that would have gotten you to listen rather than defend yourself? It's quite possible that my feedback sounded intense and I was attacking you. And so you resisted with defense. You protected yourself. So you could say, whoa, stop. When you give me feedback in that tone of voice or with that look on your face, I get triggered and I get defensive. So perhaps if you would give me your feedback in a way that sounds more neutral rather than critical, it would be easier for me to take in what you're saying and see how I can improve my behavior. You see, it's challenging and yet it's not impossible. Emotional intelligence is very important for the golden age, for moving ourselves forward. You see, our emotional reactions and responses, we often want to blame on other things, other sources. I got mad because or you made me mad when, or you made me very sad. You disappoint me. You this, you that. Because here I am casting out my reactions to how you behave in a way that I make it sound like I'm telling you how to change your life. I'm telling you how to be. And that never works. You see, but if you will have a mutual, respectful conversation about feelings, you can advance your relationships. And when someone who has absolutely no emotional intelligence at all comes up and goes off on you and unloads their bucket, so to speak, of whatever on you, it's it's the time to put up protection for yourself, not to defend, but to protect heart chakra, particularly. But keep mind open and do your best to listen. And when that person is finished emptying their bucket and you're not taking it personally, you've heard some things in there that you could say back to them, like, it sounds to me like you're upset about blah, blah, blah. Can you tell me more? Or you seem very agitated, very upset about XYZ. I would like to know what we can do to work on that. So it's hard, but it's not impossible. And I'll tell you, I'm as guilty as anyone else, but I don't carry shame about reacting because there are times when the brain handles all that in a split second and you don't have the time to think, wait a minute, that's not personal. Or, whoa, what they're talking about has nothing to do with what I'm feeling, because I'm reacting to the present as if it equals the past. So I've rambled on too long about this subject today, but I want you to know that how you feel comes through you, into you. Let it pass through you easily and to the best of your ability. Do not deny or judge any of your feelings as good or bad, right or wrong. It's not wrong to feel anger. It's not wrong to feel sad. It's not wrong to be disappointed. All of these feelings are valid and have a purpose. What you want to be cautious of is getting stuck in them. I don't want to get stuck in, I'm disappointed by you. You disappointed me. And so I have a right to tell you what's wrong with you. You see, we need to manage our own feelings with intelligence and maturity. Okay. I think I could talk about this for hours. So, my apologies of rambling. Let me bring Joshua through and let him talk to you. Thank you. Hello, beloved ones. It is my joy and my pleasure to be here speaking to you once again. Today, I think that Jordan has gotten into a subject that is extremely valuable and important because your feelings are the magnet attracting your events and your relationships and the people who will come into your life and the people who will leave. And I'm not speaking of death. I'm talking about people who come and go. They come in for a reason or a season and then leave because the purpose of the relationship has been fulfilled. It's that easy. Now, let me talk to you about your sound signature because you see how you feel, the predominance of your feelings, your dominant feelings, is what I'm saying. Create this tone, this feeling tone that flows through you. And each of you have your own tone. It is unique to you. Just like the light signature coming through your body is your very own. There is none like it on the earth or anywhere in all of creation. That is how unique you are. So the feelings that you hold predominantly in your energy field create sound, and sound affects the body. The body is created from light and sound, to be honest with you. That is how I view your body. You are a collection of light and sound. And in that light and sound existence that is you, you condense it down into something that looks like a human body. Yes. So that is how important the feeling tone is. It's a part of creating body. Now, most of you are aware that how you feel affects the body. It physically has impact on you. And when Jordan was talking about feelings that get stuck, Because you dwell on it, it gets stuck. The more stuck it gets, the more it will get into the tissues of your body. So the longer you hold on to a feeling, the deeper it imprints upon your cells through what? Light and sound, of course. And so when you feel happy most of the time, or you are dwelling in your happy thoughts, that energy can also filter in and through the cells of your body. So the cells of your body become more happy, shall we say. And there are frequencies of sound that help break up the crystals that have formed because you're mostly, water and material from the earth, and you're made of stardust, stardust, light, and sound. I'm telling you, you're made of this. And in the body, things can crystallize and cause blockages, shall we say. Little, I view them as crystals. Yes, little tiny crystals that are gathering in a collection and can actually clump and start to block energy flow through a meridian or through a chakra center. So you want to make sure that you allow feelings to flow. Don't cling. Don't dwell on something so long that it crystallizes and then blocks up energy flow through the body. Now, there are therapies available to you if you do have blockages, if you have creative blockages. Massage therapy is good, but I think that this this movement toward sound frequency for healing is advancing. Sound will be used as a healing tool much more in medicine as medicine advances, as science advances in its understanding of how sound frequencies affect the body. You already have things like ultrasound to look into your tissues. And this sound technology will continue to advance into being able to discover perhaps where the crystallization is happening, the blockages, and using sound to break that apart and let it go, to release it and move it through. So, sound is a very important element in your body creation. And what affects sound the most within your body are your thoughts and your feelings. Thoughts and feelings. As I have said, and I repeat to my students often, strive to be aware of the content of your thoughts. Also, in mindfulness, I want you to be aware of the content of your feelings. How do I feel right now? How do I feel right now? And if I feel good, that's great. If I feel sad, I understand it. I open my hand. I let it flow through me. Let it go. And I can change how I feel, honestly. If I'm feeling sad because I'm dwelling on something, some event, all I must do is change my focus, right? So I shift my mindset so that I am dwelling on something else. I might even start by asking myself in this event that caused sadness, what is the lesson? What might be the gift in the feeling this way? Or I can just shift what I'm thinking about and say, look, that's very distressing and sad for me, but right now I want to focus on maybe a conversation with a friend or a piece of my work or something to that nature that draws your attention fully. And suddenly you forget or let go of what you were feeling sad about in the moment. So, how you feel creates your reality. And how you feel starts with your mindset. So, mindset is important and valuable. It is the first thing to change if you want to change how you feel. You don't start changing how you feel by just focusing on your feelings. You change how you feel by changing your thoughts. Change what you think about and change your life. Change what you think about and change how you feel. So, what I dwell upon in my thoughts creates my internal environment, my emotional internal landscape, if you will. And that landscape is being produced out here in the world. These become my events and the people I need to attract to myself to learn what it is I need to know. Yes, to feel what I need to feel, I attract these people. To learn what I need to know, I attract these people. To have events that teach me what I need to know, I feel this way. And here comes the lesson, or here comes the blessing. I'd prefer to say, here comes the blessing, and let your life be fun. I will end my comments with that. Thank you so much for your attention. I want you to know I do love you. And since I have not said it in a long time in my own way, I would like to remind you, let the light grow, let love show, and let your life be fun. I bid you a good day. Thank you for listening. We hope you heard something to ponder and gained inspiration for your journey. Please join us again next time. Joshua says, let the light grow, let love show, and let your life be fun.